as time has gone on, I have been more and more drawn to physical media. I mean, all of my mangas that I read are physical form, even though for like $3 I can get access to all of these, like $3 a month, through the, I think it's called Shonen Jump app, and read them whenever I want. I just don't find myself wanting to because it feels good to have physical items. I'm a huge fan of physical games. Part of the reason why the Nintendo Switch excites me so much is because physical media is a big part of the Nintendo thing. They always have physical games. And yes, I buy physical for my PlayStation, but not as much. Primarily because it doesn't have that feel. Physical for me has always been part of the experience. The Steam Deck, you don't have that physical experience as much. That's just known. And I don't really, miss that with the Steam Deck because the machine itself doesn't give off the vibes of like, oh, the physical gaming experience. And so it's okay. In fact, I mean, PC gaming as a whole has ditched physical for a long time. And I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. The whole like license versus regular thing, like license versus, what is it? Access? What is that license? Yeah, license versus actual owning is kind of a bizarre concept that you just kind of own access to the game, but you don't really own the game itself. That's kind of a bummer. But physical, when it comes to medias, has been an exciting collection. And today I want to showcase a physical thing that I got that is very, very exciting. Recently, I had been given the Mod Retro from, or Chromatic from Mod Retro. And it is a really fun device to use. I use it, I'm playing currently through Zelda, Link's Awakening on there, DX. And it's a great little device. I genuinely enjoy my experience on it. And I think that when it comes to this whole physical versus digital thing, there is a fight for the physical versus digital world. But I think that, as we embrace the future of it all, it's something that, you just pick your battles. You pick where are you going to be able to get physical items and where are you going to get digital. I know that me personally, books, and I've been collecting vinyls as of late. So that's a part of it. Manga and music is my thing I've been doing. And as I'm finish this cup up, I got some new ones that are related to video games. A couple games in particular that I really, really have enjoyed over these past couple of years are Sea of Stars and Eastward. Sea of Stars, the vinyl is from a company, I think it's a third-party company, I Am 8-Bit. They pressed the soundtrack of Sea of Stars, and it has just been quite a joy to listen to. And for me, it gave me this feeling, this nostalgic feeling of days of old. Now, I didn't listen to vinyls growing up. I'm not suggesting you go out and get into listening to vinyls. It's a fun thing to do, but this isn't a case for vinyl. I do enjoy it. What it's more a case for is slowing down, just taking a step back and kind of enjoying what's in front of you. I think we've been talking a lot lately about PC, console, all of this idea of the next big thing, and I've gotten some cool comments about it and some really, really interesting personal comments too. But the biggest realization I had when thinking about all of this is, I think we are wired to move at a pace that is much slower than what we are encouraged to move at. I mean, part of the reason why I make coffee versus just push a button and let the machine do it is because I enjoy the process. I enjoy getting my hands into it, in the tactile feel of moving the water around and making sure that the extraction is even, and all that stuff is a part of the process. And that process for me has been really enjoyable over these past 10 years, maybe longer, of me making coffee. Yes, I've been making coffee this way for for over 10 years actually. My first job in high school was a coffee shop. We're going with Goku, Amber. And so, when it comes to slowing down, what better way than listening to music? The cool thing that I have realized about listening to vinyls in general is that you can't choose the song. Now, that does come with a little asterisk. You technically can choose the song. You can select a specific line and drop the needle on that song, but that's just not how you really listen to vinyls in general. You listen to vinyls by starting it at the beginning and going to the end, and that is the experience. And I think for a lot of us, life in general has become this hop around thing. I know for me, hopping around from game to game, not starting at the beginning and getting to the end. Maybe there's some stuff in the middle there that you're like, I'm not into this song, but you don't skip it. You allow it to play out to get to the next part, which ends up creating an anticipation when listening to music. It's like, oh, I can't wait to get to that part, which is great. And so what I did was I ordered some stuff, and as I said, there were two. I already opened the box, so I wouldn't have to do this. There are two specific games that really spoke to me this past year, and they very much so were, I guess it's not this past year, but this past couple of years, they very much so were story-driven, and the mechanics were different. So first was this, Sea of Stars. This is the vinyl, really great. The vinyls themselves are blue and orange, which are the two colors of the main characters. So orange being, oh gosh, I forgot his name. Orange being the guy and blue being the girl. Celeste, not Celeste. I always want to call her Celeste. She's Celestial, but those are the two characters' colors. And then we have the new stuff coming in. Now there's a game called Eastward. Eastward is a kind of like an Earthbound type game. It is very, very story heavy, and by story heavy, I genuinely mean it is extremely story heavy. The story is a lot of text reading, and it is very, it harkens back to a time period in gaming where voice acting wasn't a thing, and all of those different aspects of the game were, text boxes, story based on talking to different people, gathering lore based on talking to people throughout the village or the cities or the different areas, finding out where to go, no waypoints, although this game does have waypoints. But all of this is a part of an older style of gaming, which has been something that I've really been drawn to. As I try to figure out my place in the streaming world on Twitch, I have a hard time figuring out what is going to actually stream well and what is going to be a game that I enjoy. Trying to stick with popular ones isn't always the play, but alas, I'm figuring it out. This is something that I was really excited for. This is the special press of the original soundtrack from the Super Mario movie. I don't think I have a blade nearby, so I'm just going to have to try to manhandle this as much as I can to rip a hole in it, because this special release is a little bit different. I think I hope I got the one that was a little bit different. So the original release of this is going to be a red and a green vinyl, which is kind of, cool for, of course, Mario and Luigi. But I wanted it to be a little bit different, and you guys know what my favorite color is. It is pink. And so I think, yep, I got the special edition one. Now look at this, dude. Look at the middle of that. How freaking cool is that? Please tell me I got... Oh. So let's pull out vinyl number 1, and let's see, is this it? No, this isn't it. Okay, so it's not the I did get the right color, though. I got it. So vinyl 1 is not it. It's vinyl 2. Vinyl 2. Let's pull out vinyl 2. And let's see, is this it? This is it. It's red and green usually. Dude. A pink vinyl. Oh, that's going to be so fun to listen to. But this is the soundtrack to the Super Mario movie. A movie that I very, very, very much so enjoyed. Thoroughly enjoyed. Oh, and there's something out in the middle. There's a card in here. Usually they have little art cards or something. Oh, it's the, okay, cool. It's the credits. But this is not one. You can find this anywhere. I got these from I Am 8-Bit, and this is not at all a sponsored video. Although I Am 8-Bit, if you want to sponsor me, that'd be great. I paid for these. Bought them on sale. They were having a huge sale, so I bought them there, and that's why I pre-ordered and ended up getting the Sea of Stars one. Now, the next thing in here is something that this is the whole reason for the video, by the way, is the next one, because I could not believe that I was able to get something as cool as what I'm about to show you. Let's get this in here. This is going to be for sure a listen here today. So that is that. Here is the next one, though. So Eastward, a game that slowed down, and that's kind of the point of this, is just slowing down in general. Eastward here, this is Eastward. You might have seen it. They just released an actual what is it called? Expansion for it, and this, I mean, it's thick. It is a special edition. The special edition here, come on, I gotta open this, is not just the vinyl. I could have gotten the vinyl and a physical copy for the Nintendo Switch, because they have the Nintendo Switch one. I just bought the physical copy of the Nintendo Switch because what I wanted was actually the vinyl and the special edition board game. Board game. That is this freaking, look, dude. I'm gonna open this up, and we have the board game. This is an actual playable board game that you get with Eastward, and I don't have any idea how it plays, but it is a playable board game. And in here, let's take out the board game. These are some tokens. I'm excited to see what that's all about. We have the actual, the vinyl itself. This game is so cool. It is a game that is, as I said, slower for some people. It is a text-based game. There is not much upgrading. It's a very, very story-driven game. It's such a good story too. It's bizarre. There's some supernatural elements to it. The mechanics are, you play as this guy, and he has a frying pan. And let's see what, the game board is the vinyl. That is the freaking tightest thing ever. Oh my gosh. The game board is the Okay, let's take a look at one of the vinyls though, because so you have the frying pan. You use the frying pan as your weapon. Is it just a standard black? Oh gosh, it's so good. Yeah, dude. We're gonna get one on there, and we're gonna freaking listen at just full. I want to hear the sound. Oh, not all the way. I gotta get this guy out because it won't fold. Let's put on the first one, and then let's just blast it as loud as we can. Now, it's got a little bit of some scratches? No. Well, we'll find out, won't we? I'm actually not going to play it on here, but there's a lot of dust on here. I need to brush it. I'll have to clean it and do some stuff before we play. But I am going to listen to the first side of that. In going through all this, really, honestly, what I have found myself drawn to in these past couple of years, and more recently, these years of playing games, is I'm drawn to a lot of story-based, turn-based games, because that's what I grew up playing, but also that has so much, there's thinking, and there is just an element of slowing down and allowing yourself to take in some of the stuff. Now, I'm not saying that games that are action RPGs or other games aren't good too, but games like, some of the biggest games that really hit hard these past few years are games like Baldur's Gate, which was turn-based in some regard, and there was also what's another crazy one? An action one, Elden Ring, but also it had to do with there's a lot of Elden Ring's a slow release game anyway. You're just kind of getting through it. It has its moments where there's a lot of, chess to it, figuring out the mechanics, but playing some of these bigger titles and trying to be a part of this bigger conversation as a creator, I realized the reason why I'm drawn to some of these slower, by the world standards, games and physical media and everything in between is primarily because there's a lot of intention behind it. When playing a game like Eastward, there is a tremendous amount of intention behind what you're doing. You don't just go from point A to point B. You have to talk to people, figure out what's going on, have more of the story developed, and you have to do it as the character, as the player. It's not just force-fed to you. Now, a game that I really enjoyed over these past couple of years was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and that game is very much so force-fed to you. You just kind of go from waypoint to waypoint, and then just continue through the story. Same with 16, very linear. There's not much conversation that goes on, intentionally. You can if you want to and do some side questing, but really you can just go from point A to point Z and just hit each letter along the way and you're good. I loved that game. I enjoyed it. There was some element of it that I felt like was missing from the equation. And I really enjoy turn-based RPGs in general, or these style of games, primarily because you have to be so much more diplomatic about what you're doing. You can grind and hit just your limit breaks, or you get your Pokemon and you just do the first biggest fat attacks every time. But there's just an element of responsibility, and the game mechanic itself has more choices that I enjoy. I've been recently playing Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, and that's been a really fun experience because there's a lot of different combos, but it's its own genre and niche. When I end my day, I'm playing games like Sea of Stars. I'm playing games like, Eastward or Final Fantasy Classics 10 or something like that. I'm looking for those experiences, and I find myself drawn to that because the hurry up and wait excitement that is there, like getting through a story here, there's just so much gratification there. And a lot of it goes back to intentional. When I want to enjoy Dragon Ball Z, I'm not putting it on in the background and then just letting it roll while I'm doing something else. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna sit down and read this. That feeling, that sit down and do this thing, is just so nice. And so this triggered that thought. I wanted to share that with you guys. If you want to come join me over on Twitch to figure out what that's gonna be, twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. Come enjoy some time with us. We just relax. Doing it most evenings around 7 p.m. Pacific time. Between 4 and 6 days a week. And so as long as you're followed over there, you're going to get a notification on when I go live. That being said, I'm going to dust off that specific one, listen to it, and maybe I'll see you guys this evening. All right. As always, have fun, play games, and be kind. See ya.